Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO.
Base race? It's a base race. They're marching. They're flashing. They're going to go for this one. I don't believe this. I do not believe this.
Only aim for perfection. Ain't no half stepping. I'm gonna take you back. Spitting fact, you gotta live with that. Who got it? Who won it? No problem. We mobbing in the city. Do or die, it's either all or nothing. Best believe I'm leaving out with something. Anytime I got the crowd jumping, throwing rings when they fist.
Just evaporated. Goodo locking them all in place, linking up with Kiyose. That's an ace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO delivered by Menulog. It's another beautiful week. We're deep into week 5 now with a whole bunch of action in store. Unfortunately, we don't have Kitty here this week, but she has left a note, which I'll read out to you guys in a little while. But for now, let's see which casters we have today. Oh, it's the same ones we always have. These two. And one of them's looking like art. That's you, Skimmy. That's a nice top.
Yeah, look, you know what? We've dug a few holes in our clothing to make it look a little bit more antique. But I'm sitting next to Pablo Picasso right now. The man is just... He's got the drip on.
I googled it, it's Mondrian. We did actually Google it to confirm, so let's not get that wrong.
Picasso.
Mondrian, Dutch artist.
Is Picasso Mondrian? Is that like a race? Is it like a
The
culture?
style of modernism.
Oh.
It's not a culture. Mondrian sounds like some kind of Harry Potter, like,
it does sound pretty,
root that they use for a
pretty
potion.
abstract,
You know,
pretty
we're-
magical.
We're working on League of Legends. You know, there's many different, you know, fantasy realms here. I've never heard
That
of
could
that
be
one.
League of
I'm sorry,
Legends lore,
Rusty.
for all we know.
It could, exactly.
be.
I was just double checking. I didn't want to be left in the dark over here. Now, look, let's have a look back at what happened last week. There was a bunch of interesting games, but I feel like everything kind of went as expected. Now, are we expecting the sort of same thing this week? Were there any surprises? And look, this is the last week without Belveth, of course, you know, getting into the Rift. So any takeaways that we might see move over into the new patch?
I mean, from this one, right, obviously Twitch came into full force once again. We saw a handful of those games. The Enchanter was there to buff it up, and it literally had that 1v9 performance, right? You built a comp with all the tools, the front line, to set up the CC to make it shine, and that's what we got, especially from that game of Cheon at a Peace.
Yeah, Peace also had a 2-0 week, so lots of positives for some of the teams to take away from week 4 of the LCO, coming into a super week map. The momentum is obviously going to be a big factor with 3 days back to back to back.
Look, that is obviously another talking point that I didn't touch on at the start because I was trying to blindside you. Yeah, we got 3 games. 3 games for each week, each team this week.
3 days of games.
3 days of
3
games.
nights of action.
My brain is just gone boom, off. But at the same time, look, crazy games last week. I'm hoping we get to see, you know, some similar things. There were some extremely close ones, extremely interesting ones. And this week, look, we're only in for the same damn thing. We've got a couple of the top teams going toe-to-toe again. Maybe Chiefs will cop their first L. Maybe not, because they've been ridiculously strong so far. Who knows if that's going to change. But Belveth, that is what I want to touch on shortly, because I want to touch on the standings first. As you can see, they're up here. Chiefs undefeated as... Oh, would you say expected? Or would you expect someone to be a little bit closer at least? 5-3 for all these teams stuck in second. And look, we got a top 5, but then there's 3 games between them and 6th as well, Skimmy.
We have a top 2.
Yeah, well, ultimately we've just got this big mess, this rumble in the jungle as to, like, okay, who is that second best team, right? It was Direwolves for a hot second, and we've heard from players and saying that, you know, a great start for them, but they don't expect it to stay in that fashion for much longer, right? Peace and Pentanet have certainly proven that they can rumble with the best, and Order, you can never count them quite out, right? You know, obviously they've had their moments in Split 1. They can all through that gauntlet came through to become the champions. So I think second right now is definitely where I've got my eyes looking at.
Well, let's have a look at what games we're going to be looking at today here on the LCO delivered by Menulog. Gravitas and Direwolves to kick things off. There may be a chance for Grav to show us what they're made of up against Direwolves, who are currently in second, so maybe it's a little bit harder than I've made it sound. Peace and Kanga there at 7 PM, which will be the second game of the day. PGG and Mammoth as the third. And then having a look at that one, the fourth game of the day is where things get spicy. Can Order get some revenge for what's happened in that first round robin, or are Chiefs going to be playing for that 2-0 head-to-head already, Rusty?
No second-place teams playing against each other today. That is I think, my big narrative for today's games. We've got a million teams sitting in second, and it's about win to keep that position. If you lose, suddenly you're out of that race, as we would coin it for this Super Week. So, very exciting day of games for the standings.
Goes back to that, conversation about the strength of schedule. We might see Order drop below everyone else who's got their other games on.
They always have a really good week in terms of schedules. Day 1's Gravitas, Day 2 Kanga, Day 3 Mammoth. So it's kind of the front runners to stay in the top 2 position.
So let's have a look at what the match of the week is. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Order up against Pentanet, one that we think is going to be the banger for all the marbles, at least, for this second attempt. Look, that's on tomorrow. Second game, 7 p.m. Make sure you don't miss it. These guys are going to be hyping it the hell up. We were pretty much spot on with our game of the week last week, and
true.
I reckon we're going to be pretty spot on again. There's a couple of very interesting matches throughout the 3 days we have of LCO this week, and all of them are going to be played on the new patch. So let's have a look at the 12-12 patch notes. Beth is here. Rusty, I've played this a little bit, and I've definitely bought both of those mythics before, but what's the better one?
I mean, it's quite a contentious conversation at the moment for a lot of different reasons. I think there's always going to be a time where Frostfire Gauntlet is really good, but generally speaking, Kraken Slayer seems to be the go-to. However, the first core item is Blade of the Ruined King. So before we consider what the mythic is, there will always be a Blade of the Ruined King in the build. Belveth, for anyone who hasn't watched other regions, is if you combined Viego and Shyvana into a single champion. Has the reset, is a close range attack speed heavy champion, and wants to full clear but doesn't have the pace of the Shyvana, which is why it's more like Viego. I feel like it really is just like, if you think about those two champions, just put them together, that's what you've got here, with a lot of other stuff with heralds and crazy game-breaking mechanics that can win games at 12 minutes.
I think my favorite thing about Belveth is the fact that her dash doesn't actually go through walls unless you're in your ultimate form as well. So that's something that I screwed up a few times when I first played it. I was like, I'll just go through here. Oh, wait, I'm not ultimate.
I think the ult form for me is actually what's quite exciting, right? Because much like a Viego, you can claim those passives, the Coral, if you will, right? And that can be done from a Dragon, a Herald, a Baron, or even from a Champion takedown. But it does empower your baseline kit, right? More movement speed, more attack range, just more damage, more health overall, right? So the ability to become an absolute nuisance. The cool little Void interaction between herself and the Herald, as well as the Baron itself, right? Longer duration on that ult form, right? Going up from 60 to a full 3-minute form, which is just absolutely phenomenal. But I think the most annoying part for me is her E ability, right? 80% damage reduction, lifesteal, just literally attacks anybody within her range. Very frustrating. I've seen my fair few highlight clips of people molding.
Yeah, you really have to make sure you have a knock up or a taunt or something on the team just to make sure that ability is just gone, because it's an absolute nuisance. Other things to touch on as well is that this is the nerfed version of Belveth. It's not the initial overpowered one. She doesn't have the ridiculous uncapped attack speed that we had in that first couple of weeks of her as well. We do have a few more changes that we can have a quick look at as well, towards the system, towards a couple of the items in particular, as well as Predator there. Rusty, you want to take me through what's changed?
Yeah, so the TLDR of these is they're actually not that massive. Night Harvester has already been changed. They've just changed the build path to compensate, to actually give it ability haste in the build path. When it comes to mythic items, they should have a really seamless and streamlined build path, because that's going to be your first item where the most recalls would take place anyway. So I like that. Serpent's Fang, I don't think the changes are crazy. Again, it's just a couple of small nerfs. Shadow Flame got a small buff. Just bug fixes really across the board. And then Predator got, like, people say it ends up as a buff, but it's nerfed. It's just completely nerfed. 20% movement speed off, like, on the very early activations.
Yeah.
Just way weaker.
Especially in competitive, when it's used for those early rotations, early ganks.
It's first gank.
I mean, we saw it on Volibear, we saw it on on Veigar, actually, in the mid lane, right? Same with Galio, right? Any ability for them to try and chase up, activate their abilities, or, be present on the map as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Certainly a bit of an early game nuisance.
Certainly is. Now let's have a look at what's changed with the champions. There's been a bunch of buffs, a bunch of nerfs, and some adjustments in the mix as well. Now, I know Belveth got slightly nerfed there. Anything else? Look, I'm seeing a nerf there to Viego. Buffs. Any chance that we're going to maybe see some playtime from? I know Seraphine's there.
Well, Seraphine should be getting played a lot more. It is right now globally the most, or the highest presence. Got a buff, despite already being insane, right?
Yeah.
Even better now is the root duration on your E ability. So from 1 second to 1.5, fantastic for Seraphine. Expect to see a lot more of that. I know the one that you were quite excited about, Rusty, was the Viega, right? The skill expressions being removed from the shadow, so you can't be, it's annoying to try and counteract it.
Yeah, you channel your stun and then activate the E, you're invisible while channeling the stun. So it removes the visible counterplay of dodging the stun engage, which is how you should be able to deal with a Viego. You should have to press E first to have the Shroud come out, so that like you kind of give that alarm. And I think this change for Viego actually makes it really difficult to get successful ganks off without flash, because you can't just rely on having the invisibility to cover an extra 500 units that the Shroud provides.
Yeah.
I'm also sure that just quietly cheering in the background is the Tim Carbon Wendell Most Improved Award for the Ivern buff in there. Less health cost and more shielding from the Ivern. So that's going to be something that very, very niche in anyone that ever plays it, but those 1% of people that do play Ivern will be frothing at the thought.
The 1%.
I feel like Jarvan is actually buffed for top lane because they reduced the passive cooldown, so that Conqueror Jarvan builds for top could work, and there's tanks up there.
Okay.
And Mooma also got buffed for support, I feel like, by reducing mana cost on Q and base damage on ult. I do feel like those are just, like, same thing with Blitzcrank, right? They're just trying to kind of buff them towards those support roles. And Seraphine just turbo broken, so in reality, we were going to see it anyway, and then just for good measure, they must be releasing a skin. They've given her a buff on top of it.
That would make sense. That would make sense.
It would.
Now, look, we've got a few stats to have a quick look at. We have top kills in the LCO so far. Puma sitting up there with 12 in one game, in a single game. I'll put that caveat there. Now, Balkan, close second with 11, and on 10, we have Seaman. And he's done that in 2 single games now. So
He has. Yeah, Puma just exploded into life, right? His previous best record was 10 kills. He was playing that Callista game, the first of the entire split. Fantastic start for him. That one there was one of those Twitch games that he put out for us where it was literally that 1v9 performance where he got so far ahead so early on, got the solo experience, had like a 2 to 3 level advantage over his counterpart, sat in mid and was literally 1v3 and they couldn't bully him off that wave. So phenomenal for him. Balkan there, 11 kills. That was the game where we potentially had a pentakill for his Wukong, got stolen away, right? Him and
most of these that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Him and Praetor were like contesting to try and get that pentakill. And Seaman, back-to-back games. The most recent one that we're going to remember is that Silas performance, right, where they had the phenomenal level 1 research into Pentsnet and took all the shows. So, yeah, definitely some really stand-up performances from those lads.
certainly is. Now, look, we've got a few more stats to have a quick look at. So we'll bring up the top farm in a game at Puma. He's there again. 474 CS in that game against Direwolves. And from what I remember, that was an absolute thriller. A very, very long one. And that is, of course, why it enabled him to get 474. But I think even in terms of the average CS, Puma's really high up there because he's just been so damn good.
I mean, if he's averaging 10.5 CS per minute, the average game time is 30 minutes. He's averaging very close to his previous record of 389, which was the previous record. So Puma is farming like an absolute madman and is absolutely commanding the Rift right now for Order.
Now we have solo kills to have a look at as well. So just quickly checking in on this stat. Tapoon right up there, closely followed by Paprise. But there was something that you brought up before, Rusty, that needs to be said, right?
They were tied in solo kills until Tapoon laned against Paprise last week. And so the difference between them is Tapoon killing Paprise to cement himself as the #1 kill leader for solo kills. Which comes as no surprise when you watch Tapoon play.
Of course, of course. Free top laners, free mid laners. So solo kill, or solo laners are the solo kill monsters. They're just, they're getting it done for their team, absolutely.
Crazy, crazy. And look, as you mentioned, every single person on that list was solo laners as well. So that's where we're going to see a lot of the solo kills. You know, BL bot lane, BL jungle, just keep ganking, keep doing the same thing.
Sure.
But for now, it's time for your favorite segment.
Is it?
For your favorite segment. For my favorite segment. For your favorite segment.
Tell me,
it's
Mac.
Time.
Tell me, Mac.
Now my voice is back.
Yes.
For the LCO Champion Conundrum.
Is today the day luck's with you? Is it now your life could read you? Then you must play the game, cause I have to proclaim life's a game of chance.
The voice is gone
He's
again.
The voice is
absolutely
gone
racing.
again.
The voice is gone.
That was so powerful. I missed it so much.
Sorry guys. Look, if you guys at home had headphones on, Joke's on you then, huh? Hey, now look, today we have a few fun things to do, most of which are looking at the tooltips. We're going to test our knowledge to see how much attention we were paying while we were loading into our games, loading into the rifts. You know the tooltips that are in the middle of the teams? You've got the top 5 at the bottom, and right around here on the screen is where the tooltips are.
Yeah.
The did you knows.
The did you knows.
They're hamster wheel computers.
Little tips to tell you how to play better, right? And we're going to bring some up on the screen, but there's going to be parts of them missing, and we have to write down what we think is missing to, test how photographic our memories are and stuff. So let's check what the first one is. We may get tips from production on the tips as well. We'll have a look at what it is. We've got about 30 seconds to write it down and figure it out. Finish this sentence. Mordekaiser's mace is named...
His mace is named. Oh my god. Okay, we started with an impossible one. We need Kitty.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same way with law questions.
Mordekaiser's mace. What would he call it? Be metal. Something metal.
I got my answer. That's all I'm saying. You want to see it? You don't get to see it yet. Got to wait till the time's out. Time is up, from what I heard. I hope you wrote something. It's one word.
I wrote something.
If you wrote 2 words,
Technically one word.
Technically.
What I wrote.
Well, let's reveal. 3, 2, 1. Boom. His mace's name is good, is what I wrote.
I wrote a metal.
And it's true.
I wrote a metal
My
band.
statement was correct. Death, I prevail. Yeah, it's connected. But it was nightfall, as you can see on the screen. So look, that's number 1.
How did we not get that, man?
All of us were apparently going to the bathroom when we were
How did
loaded
we
into the
not
rift.
get
How did we
that?
not get that, man?
So easily.
So
so easy,
easy.
wasn't it, eh?
Damn. All right, well, let's bring up number 2.
Will we
Have
get
a look
one
at
of
what
these?
it is.
That's the actual game.
Enemy minions will turn to attack you if you... 5 words.
5 bro, we just went from easy to hard.
Can we fit this on the whiteboard?
I got something with 4 words.
I'm out of space. I'm trying to draw it. Huh. Okay.
I cheesed it so hard.
You cheesed it? Right, Bezos
I
again.
didn't finish my word, but time's up.
I just broke up the word.
I also put a capital in a place where it shouldn't be. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. You guys
You're not
can't
going to be
see
able
that.
to read these.
It says click on the enemy champion. It was the only thing I could get with 5 words. Attack
I went
a
nearby to make
Yeah.
5.
Oh, I like that.
Clever,
That's
isn't
nice.
it?
Attack enemy champions near them.
was
You
trying to hit
attack a
5.
champion near them. Oh, you guys were close.
If you
I
attack...
didn't... Oh, wait, did you
I
actually
got it
get
perfect.
it? Attack a champion.
Oh, I
near
wrote
them.
a enemy
Attack-
instead of a. I would argue mine's better.
Okay, well, they
I would
are
argue
enemies
mine's
at the end of the
better.
day. They are enemies, let's be
Attack
honest.
enemy champion near them. Yeah, we'll give you both a point.
Compensation points.
I'll give myself a third of a
Just for
point.
the lack of English in that, I reckon you should get a half point.
I've attacked the English
Attack a
language.
near
Click
by.
on the enemy champion. Anyway, let's wipe these. Get them clean. Get
Go,
'em
go,
ready
go. Speedrun.
for number 3. Let's bring it
Jack's
up and have a look. Where'd I put my pen?
Please.
I don't want to get pen on the camera. Jax's favourite food is blank, particularly those from a certain caravansary in the Sherman city of...
Shuriman City of his areas.
Sherman city of
Sherman.
Azuras.
P. Sherman.
Every lob as one word.
Jax's favourite food?
Four letters.
4 letters. Oh, this is so easy.
Skimmy, that's not 4 letters. This is...
Time's up. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Reveal.
You both did the same thing.
So,
Eggs.
okay, no, okay,
Eggs.
so Jax loves to use Trinity Force, right? So he's got the Trinity sauce on his halal snack pack, bro.
I'll rate that.
That's good. That is genuinely, that's very
Skimmy,
good.
you get 3 points.
It's pretty good, no?
Eggs.
1 for each of the
Eggs.
sauces. There you go. So I didn't write eggs. I wrote HSPS. So HSPs. We've got
true.
time for one
Got
more.
screwed on.
We've got time for one more. It's going to take 30 seconds to write something down. Hopefully it's not too long because I've got to read it like that.
Go,
It's
go,
15
go.
seconds. Couldn't think. Let's bring it up. Let's have a look at what it is. Let's look at what it is again. Finish the sentence. You can't play a team game without a team. 4 words.
Oh, I can't. I wish I...
Exclamation mark at the end. Do not be bad. Okay.
That was pretty close to what I'm writing.
That's actually what I... Skimmy, you've spoiled it.
Spoilers.
My handwriting, I'm apologising for that in advance. 2 seconds, 1 second. We there?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just made something up on the
Ready?
spot real quick.
3, 2, 1, reveal. Do not be toxic. Don't be a lever, damn. Just get good, lol.
Don't be a knob. I'm
Don't be a
like,
knob.
just get good, lol.
You're right, noob. Or just...
No.
Don't be a lever. Is that what it said?
Sorry, yeah, sure, Mac. I meant to write noob. I did. I meant to write noob.
Did you actually?
No.
Where's it?
Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Do you know you spelt it wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, look.
My bad. Accidents happen.
Very true. That's it for
I'm a noob.
the champ conundrum today. We all suck. If Kitty was here, she would have got everything right.
She
Now,
would've.
I think that's a good time to quickly
True.
read Kitty's letter before we move on with the show, because
The
got a
royal
few things to
decree?
get through. So, it was sent to me in the mail. It did have a ribbon, but I replaced it with a rubber band. I don't know. Can you guys see? I'll read it for you because it's pretty small. It's definitely handwritten if you caught that glimpse. Hey guys, it's Kitty here.
Hey, Kitty.
Hi, Kitty.
Hey. As you all know, I've demoted out of Challenger as of last week, and I'm now too low elo to join the analyst couch.
That's true.
Wait, I just want to fold my legs.
Mac is challenger.
It's true, it is.
Yeah.
Smurfing.
I am currently 50 LP away from grinding back Challenger, so please send your best wishes and pray that I'll be back soon. Best wishes, a Grandmaster player.
I love the music.
Pray.
I love the music.
Imagine not being Challenger. I'm laughing at you, Twitch chat. I'm laughing at myself too now. It's all in
Tries in
jest.
silver Twitch chat.
True.
I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I need to get rid of me whiteboard. Oh. So, I'm loving the music.
It's
so devastating. Anyway, thank you, Kitty,
it makes
for
me
sending
feel
the
more
letter.
sophisticated. I just
I'm
want
sure
to sit
Kitty
like
will
this
be
now.
in chat with the Sag
With
vibes.
a couple of Sag
The
vibes.
GM vibes.
Sag
By the way,
spams.
I hope she didn't. I was just, that was like a nervous reaction, the laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I got really nervous.
I was picking up what you were
because
putting
it's
down.
on camera. Anyway, guys, we have from the fans as well. I want to hear from you guys because apparently you've been sent to roast us. So do your bloody worst. At LCO on Twitter, get over there, send in your best roasts because it's a beautiful Monday roast and we have a couple to have a look at. So let's bring up number one and see who's getting roasted on the couch today. Skimmy from New Zealand. Oh, get roasted.
I love how it's just literally facts, but I've been roasted.
It is. It is.
Well, Max, I actually really loved your performance in Euphoria. I thought you did really well on that TV show, so
Ooh.
good on you, mate.
Which one was he?
Oh, one of the jocks, wasn't he?
Ah, yeah, true,
Surely.
true. Now we got one more to have a look at. Skimmy's feeling real red and roasted after that one. Let's see who's it from. Mabin
A double whammy.
Yeah,
Mabino
back-to-back Skimmy roast.
Mabinogi cast. There's nothing I could say about Skimmy that will hurt him more than his uwu hurting me.
Oh, do you want another one?
Oh,
Do you want another one?
That's a friendly roast
Come back to
because
life.
that
Get
hurt
ready.
them.
All
get
right,
ready,
Sarah.
Skimmy.
All right, Sarah.
3,
Look at me
2,
in the camera.
1.
You know, I reflexively shut my eyes in cringe.
Think about that for
I
2
can't
seconds.
actually stop myself.
What's better, V1 or V2?
from cringing.
I count down and then I just looked away. I was like, wait, I've enabled this. I'm so sorry,
Yep.
everyone at home. But
It's
at the same
happened.
time, I hope you're all having a good time because we're having a good time today.
are.
I bet you Gravitas is having a good time too. Let's have a look at what they're bringing to the table for today. That's Piglet in bot lane. What's going on here?
Good question.
Have we got a bit of a Kanga lifestyle going on here, right? As many AD carries as you can fit into a team as once. Yeah, Thomas Shen and Piglet back in business. Not in the fashion we would have imagined, right? Playing as a bot lane together. Going to be kind of exciting to see what they decide to play as a result. But ultimately, I mean, what we've been saying for Gravitas, we'd love to see a little bit more aggression, a little bit more tempo, as opposed to trying to default to a little bit of scaling and just hoping by the 20, 25-minute mark that you can match pound for pound with a Corki or an Ornn. I would love to see Toppy unleashed. Like, give him a Vladimir. Let him just go for a full team fight comp. Maybe Dajong sticks to the Silas, plays the Twisted Fate, plays for heavy map pressure and says, go crazy. Bot lane, top lane, wherever it may be, we're fighting.
Crazy. Indeed. Tell you what else goes crazy? Dogs in the cold weather. And at the moment, we got direwolves coming into the Rift, so who knows what they're going to be doing. It's definitely wet and cold up in Sydney, so they're going to be doing zoomies all around the Rift here, Rusty.
You definitely know that the Bulldog is playing in this one, and Dials have been looking really good, one of the teams that are tied for second. We spoke about this before, but they've got a pretty good run for the Super Week 3. What you would want to say is wins for them to try and retain that second place. And the reality is, it seems like Direwolves have been one of the best prepared teams in the LCO when it comes to the early game, when it comes to jungle pass and their first clears, execution, and their draft has generally been pretty solid. And it does help to have a coach that's playing as well as having a coach. So they get to double down on all of the information that exists, and it does seem like it's doing wonders for them, honestly, so far.
I've got one quick question, and it's for Maximize if you're watching in the audience right now. Would you say that same roast to Bulldog? And maybe Dante, but I'd be more scared of Bulldog. Would he do it?
I think he'd be too scared.
I reckon he'd do it.
No, I think he'd be too scared. I think
You reckon?
you go up against the Bulldog, he'll bark,
Max is like
and it's just rent-free.
7'8" jacked or something, right?
Yeah, he is. He's very tall and handsome.
Yeah. That's a good
To be fair, Bulldog might get
him as well.
Bulldog might feel that insult, take his shirt off and staunch him.
Bulldog
He's prone to it.
He's very tall and handsome as
prone to
well.
it.
They're very attractive individuals.
Just waiting for it. Just absolutely waiting for it. Now, look, head-to-head, these teams, Direwolves has had a lot more success recently, but we saw last week they copped their first loss in what feels like a while. And well, I wouldn't say a while because they went against Chiefs not long ago. But at the same time, they were definitely tested. And now we get to see how they go against some bottom of the table teams. And they need to look convincing. They need to look good. They need to show us why they want to stay in that top 5 right now.
And last time we did see them, it was a Viego top lane into a Sejuani, which felt a little bit odd. I think it was like a 2-8 end game, and one of the weirdest teleports I've ever seen. So I don't think we'll see that again.
Yeah, I hope not. But someone we will see again, that I'm happy to see again, is my man, Toppy, from Gravitas in the top lane. Big fella, I wasn't here last time we got you on the interview. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I was devastated you weren't here. I was like, first interview, I'll have Mac. And then I opened the stream, I'm like, oh, that's not Mac. But it's cool, it's cool.
Oh, wow. As my good friend Luke,
Max,
I'll let
no
him know you were
No shade,
disappointed. Either way, how are you finding fitting into the Gravitas roster now? You've been around a few weeks. Are you enjoying playing competitive here in the LCO?
Yeah, no, I am enjoying it. I feel like we're getting better. But obviously, like, results haven't changed, but like behind the scenes, we're getting somewhere. So I feel like this week's definitely a good chance to pick up a first win. So I'm keen.
Yeah, pracs better, chemistry's better. You're looking better every single time I see you on camera. Remember that one. And quickly, you know, we have to get to the game pretty shortly. Yesterday was National Compliment a Mirror Day. So I want to know what you were doing yesterday and what you were saying to yourself in the mirror.
I had a 10-hour shift actually yesterday. So I was doing a whole lot of moping around and feeling sorry for myself. So I was on like 2 hours sleep.
But
So,
then,
yeah,
then you
nothing,
looked at
too
yourself and
special.
you said, God damn, I'm lucky.
Yeah,
And that's
I
what
got
kept you going?
Yeah, I got home, looked in the mirror and said, I'm not looking too hot. So I had a little nap, woke up, went back to the mirror and said, yeah, I'm feeling better. Time to grind solo queue and donate some LP to people.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, you're going up against Zoranus today. Are you going to win the matchup? Are you going to destroy him, you know, in 3 words? You can use less if you want. What are you going to do?
That's a good question. I'm going to say dive top. 5-man top. 5-man top.
Hey, beautiful.
Okay.
All right, well, hopefully
that.
Zoranus isn't watching, or he'll just be tucked away under that tower and hoping for the best. Either way, Toppy, we'll let you go and get ready for the game.
Cheers. Thanks, Mac.
Beautiful. Good to chat with the man. He was, you know, feeling chipper, even though he had the 10-hour shift on 2 hours sleep. That's something I wish I would never have to do.
No,
I think I've done it like once or twice. Terrible though. Dare fan vote. Get your points in. Tell us how you think this game's going to go. It's time to win yourself some channel points, lose yourself some channel points. Be really happy about winning. Be very sad about losing and then have to watch more LCO, which, you know, in turn gets you more Twitch points. But at the same time, makes you happy because you get to listen to me ramble on about things. Now, we have our predictions as well. Let's have a look at which way we think this one's going to go. And we've all gone with Direwolves. Everyone's still sitting with the favorites as much as, you know, Toppy really sort of pulled my arm. He was like, hey, you should.
5-man top.
Gravitas, pick them. I said, nah. Not
Were
today.
you gravitating towards them?
No, it was someone grabbed my arm and then the
Looking
camera
for new
swapped.
play-by-play.
Okay.
Whoa. Go! Kitty. Thank you. She's actually here today. Just chilling, but. Anyway, Kitty, she's in Twitch chat. She'll tell you why she's gone for Direwolves. If Gravitas, Skimmy, have a chance today,
Yes, mate.
what route's it coming through? Which lane are we watching?
I'm looking straight at Toppy. I'm going to see him have a colossal top lane gap. He's just going to 1v9. I'm going to see a hard carry. It's going to be a Fiora. It's going to be a Camille. It's going to be a Vladimir. He's just going to rock up to a team fight, be absolutely huge, pick the right target apart, and maybe just focus bot lane. That's where I'd be looking for Direwolves right now to try and shut them down, because I feel like they're like the identity right now for Direwolves.
They certainly are. Now, Direwolves, who's going to be playing out of their minds? Are we going to be looking at Dante again to do a lot of the carrying?
Yeah, you'd expect so. I want Direwolves to play something that isn't difficult, right? Like, the reality is they should just be able to play bread and butter League of Legends. They should be able to find themselves a win if they play that properly. So overcomplications could be their downfall, but we've seen so much carry potential from Dante already. Bulldog unleashed on the Bard. I'd love to see another Ezreal Bard duo from them because they do look clean with it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'd be looking as well.
I don't think we've even mentioned Poltron yet as well, but he's had some very, very clean games, very clean victories. That Predator nerf came through, so maybe we won't see him play in volley. Maybe we'll go for something a little bit different. Either way, he's been, relatively successful as well.
Yeah, I mean, what if he just debuts the Belveth? I've been absolute king.
That'd be interesting.
I would be very excited to see if that
Can he
happens.
do that when his top lane plays carry champion?
He can just ego. Like, I'm your coach in the game. I'm drafting. I'm playing. I am the star of the show.
I wonder if Belveth is just going to, ask for that, respect ban. And we're about to find out right now because Champ Select is ready. First game of the day. Here it is.
Thank you very much there, Mac. Yes, it is that first game of the day. Patch 12.12, brand new patch, new champion added into the mix of things, and that does beg the question, will it be banned, will it be prioritized, or will we get anything different as we load in?
We've seen a couple of Belveth in EU. We saw some in NA Academy. I don't think we saw any in the LCS itself unless I missed it today. But Belveth is kind of sitting on the outskirts of being viable, it feels like. Can absolutely be a powerhouse with the right lanes. Kitty was mentioning Sejuani. As a viable top lane 2v2, which makes sense, right? Dueling 2v2 top lane skirmish type champions. Would be nice to see that if we do. But first and foremost here, Skimmy, new patch. Couple of changes to the bans is what you would expect to see. Yuumi and Seraphine being two big ones in that mix from Direwolves on red side, which leaves open the Wukong, which is very interesting for Gravitas to pick up what is a above 90% win rate champion here in the LCO.
Yeah, it's just so many strong champions now that you are going to leave through a number of these S tiers to then select through. So Wukong being no surprise. Can't respond with a Zeri, unfortunately. So a Gnar is actually going to be in their first rotation here. Begs the question, will we see something of the likes of mid lane scaling? We haven't commonly seen that. Seaman has been much more towards the likes of an Akali and an Ahri. Instead, back to the Ezreal.
The Gnar first pick is an interesting one for me, right? Normally you'd see Direwolves on red side. Normally you'd see them go straight towards this fifth pick counter pick, right? In reality for Zoranus this time around, it does feel like they've perhaps changed up their draft strategy here. It could be mid lane's Human, the assassin player. It makes sense to give him counter picks at all times, really. Seems like that's the path they might be going here. You've also seen a fair amount of support last picks on red side lately in this split. Just because there's so many different bot lane combos that you could pick up. And Ezreal is also one of the most flexible ADs for the supports that can be paired with it. So it's definitely possible that we just see a jungler locked in here third by Direwolves and we just go straight into the depths of support champion pools.
Wouldn't be too surprising. What do Gravitas go for in their third pick? They're going to just lock in a Sylas. Why not? Dajong absolutely loves the champion. That's what I'd love to see him do. Definitely causes Direwolves to consider what ultimates can be denied away.
Well, what would Seaman play? Because he has a fairly limited champion pool in general, right? Like the Akali, Sylas, pretty good with Akali ult.
Sure.
Right? Ahri, absolutely frothed for the Ahri ult. We didn't mention this in patch 12.12, but Shaco has been absolutely buffed. And on 12.12, got another buff. We knew that Poltron was a Shaco player.
He is the Shaco player.
Yeah, in his history in the LCO, prior to this split, played one game, it was Shaco, it won, and then just disappeared into the night. But I didn't think they would do this so early.
There's a warm and fuzzy feeling that comes about me, though, when I see Poltron lock on that Shaco. Denied the perfect split for Pensnip. Came in as the super sub as a coach and said, that's how you get it done. That's certainly thrown a spanner in the works here, right? And a big reason why, I'm sure, the Gnar's been locked in first. They wanted to get a bit of a scouting idea as to what Gravitas were putting together. No surprises now when we go into this next set of bans that we are going to be looking at a lot of the hyper-enabling enchanters. Lulu Renata, top of the table to really buff up somebody like an Aphelios. Response from Gravitas, much like you said, deny that Ezreal and Bard pairing.
Yeah, so they're going to get rid of the Bard. I do wonder what they'll go for next with it. You could perhaps remove a Nautilus. Shaco's not a ganking jungle champion that can engage the play themselves. They often want setup. So I would almost be looking at Bulldog to be playing something that facilitates the Shaco engages, especially with, again, that flexibility of Ezreal. We'll see where they choose to go, though, because Wukong's a forward-facing champion, as is the Silas. And they've actually gifted a fairly good ultimate for Gravitas, for Dajong to steal here. But the Rakan covers the engage that they were after, right? Has that flexibility there. And Direwolves do find themselves overall so far with a pretty nice composition. As expected, giving the counter pick to Suman in mid lane. But they've already seen the Silas. The only reason that they might still hold this is if they're worried that's flexible to top. The Silas being picked into the Gnar, you'd think in your mind, yeah, like still Mega Gnar, that's insane. And I think that, like, in general, the stocks are rising for Dajong here. Sejuani should just confirm, however, where everybody is going. And we just wait for a support to go with Aphelios, which could just be the Lulu, right? It could just be something that is an enchanter that plays back now. You've seen the Rakan. Or they're going to double down.
Just engage.
Or triple down.
Why not?
There's no one that can't engage.
Literally limitless tools to now allow and enable them to try and get into the faces of the Direwolves to try and shut them down. A lot of tools also to try and prevent an Akali having too much fun, right? Knock-ups, stuns, slows, literally everything that an Akali is going to hate. But I'm sure if there's one person that can make an Akali work, it would be Suman.
Well, they won't have any reveal for the Akali, right? There's not going to be a Lissandra that's straight up guaranteed to lock you down without vision. I do think that there are worlds, and Suman's a good enough player to try and outplay, yeah. But this is a very odd game to actually just compare and contrast the two drafts overall. Shaco Akali mid-jungle for Direwolves it just feels like that's a solo queue piece of hot garbage that has to snowball early from mistakes of your opponents versus the standard Silas with ults to steal that are fantastic and a Wukong jungle. Sejuani Wukong's a great combo. The only thing that I can really say about Gravitas' composition is while they've got tanks to deal with Akali, they don't have shields or denial for the Akali's damage. The tanks will survive, but will Thomas Shen?
It's a good question, right? If he can get on top, or if actually both assassins, that mid-jungle pairing for Direwolves, can get on top of that Aphelios nice and easily, then all that protection, all those bruises, the bodyguards, if you will, really run to the lay side and not going to look as attractive as it once would.
Yeah, because there's also like Divine Thunder and Gnar that should be fine. Self-sufficient when it comes to team fighting, and dealing with tanks should be pretty easy for the Gnar. The Akali can skirt around the fights, as can the Shaco, but those two are probably the most at risk. And then you just got a very straightforward, Ezreal can't be touched. If he's playing well, might want cleanse, just kite,
dance
long
to
range.
the edge of the fight all day long.
Exactly. So the rest of the team dives. Thomas Shen dies, best case scenario for Direwolves. And then you've just got the rest of the team on their own devices, just doing their own thing, outplaying what is the constant attempts of engage from Gravitas. Because if we were to summarize their composition in one word, it would be engage.
Sure.
For sure. They don't have much else.
But what I'm gaining from this, right, is that probably the most important thing for Gravitas right now is vision. Most importantly, control wards. The ability to keep tabs and tracks on where those flanking angles could be, and especially where the invisible targets of a Shaco and Akali could be at any given moment, right? Because if they can find the angle, if Thomas Shen does overextend, Gravitas are not going to be too happy about the outcome. Regardless, though, we are ready to rock and roll. We are ready to jump into the Rift to kickstart another week. It's a super week. Day 1 of 3, and it starts right now. Well, let's check in with the coaching staff as always. We got Coach Mystic on the line. How are you, mate?
How you going, lads?
Yeah, doing really well. I mean, how are you, first of all? I mean, coming into this one, it is a super week. So what really changes for you boys? Is there much different in the way of preparation? Is there much different in the way that, you go into these matches?
No, nothing changes but the weather, honestly. I mean, we do the same amount of prep. It just means we got one less day of prep for the next week, So just keeping it consistent, keeping progress moving forward with the guys, and just making sure we stay locked in and get as much as we can out of every single day of prep. No doubt, no doubt. And honestly, I'm sure at this stage right now, it's all about getting that first important victory on the board to try and create a little bit of momentum. Talk to me a little bit about this bot lane shake-up, 280 carries. How's this come about? We just decided to shake things up a little bit. We weren't really getting what we needed out of the bot lane, and it was something that Simon and I had kind of theorized about a little bit. Piglet had voiced that he was open to giving it a go, and so we tested it out a couple times in scrims. It looked serviceable enough, so we figured, hey, let's give it a crack, see if this is a shakeup we need to get something on the board.
Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is the shakeup to get you boys that all-important victory. Mystic, I'm going to let you go. Best luck for this week, and best luck for tonight.
Well, Shumi said thank you there. It did seem like on a little bit of a delay.
Sure.
The old Mystic misengaged there from Bulldog as we get into this game, but they did, of course, have level 2 to level 1, so just having a crack. When you play versus Shaco, Gimme, there is one standardized way to play against it, I would say, and that is to invade with Sweeper to find the boxes.
Okay.
If you can deny Shaco from having boxes, jacking the boxes at the start of his clear, it slows him down significantly. Because that effectively means you can smiteless take the first camp, the blue buff in that respect with Leash, really quickly into double box on Gromp that you almost instantly take, and you get to do a half side clear for free as fast as any fast clear jungler can do it. And that's where your flexibility comes in as the Shaco after that point, right? If it's a red buff side start, straight into a gank if you wanted. But this time around, it is going to be the full clear 6 camp from Poltron. Completely untouched as Jung just wants to take a bit of a hit there. The other big thing for me that I think it's important to point out is no exhaust in this game. No cleansers in this game.
Okay.
It is just ignites. There is full aggression through the summoner usage here. Bulldog has ignite. Human has ignite. I think if you want Prio in mid, Akali versus Silas having ignite really important to deny that healing. Otherwise, Silas will just be in your face, W max off cooldown and bully you out. And Poltron being Shaco has gone for the ignite smite, as has Toppy standard for Sejuani. So there is absolutely fire everywhere.
There really is a lot of hot fire on the map, ready to rain down to guarantee those kills, or at least give you some very early momentum. A mid-jungle pairing running Ignite together. Not the most common pairing. Here's the hook to start things off as Piglet finds the mark. Glacial Augment locks him down for a fraction, but Bulldog can literally just jump out of harm's way. This will be interesting, very interesting for me to try and see where that first little bit of aggression stems from. If it comes from the laners trying to juke out on an individual 1v1 or 2v2 basis, or if we are really waiting for level 6 to allow Lenya and Poltron to, you know, flap their wings.
And it looks like it is going to be the AP Shaco. We haven't highlighted this yet. Just going through the runes, Dark Harvest. It's going to be a standard rune of choice for AP Shaco. AD Shaco tends to go Hail of Blades, I believe, as the rune of choice, then also has gone straight back for those ability power items with the Dark Steel and the Amp Tome. Shaco's changes on patch 12.12 were kind of just buffs across the board for damage, both AD and AP, but the nerfs were towards sustainability and health values, armor values, etc. So
that's the trade-off.
Yeah, that's making an active trade-off here that he wants to do just more damage and influence the game. And Poltron also has been a Shaco player of the past, so while it's a surprise he has locked it in, I don't think anyone is really that surprised if you know Poltron.
It throws another spanner in the works, right? When we talk about the pocket pick tax of last week, right, where we said that a lot of these pocket picks were Direwolf specific. Kindred, Akali, Ari Karma. Now you got to suddenly worry there's a Shaco that needs to be dealt with. Something in Oath with these junglers, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. A lot of unusual champions. Still, we've got to get, again, the bread and butter of League of Legends down correct, but we're going to continue to throw some spanners into the mix. Always makes sense for Gravitas to try something different or to oversimplify the way that they want to play League. The easier your composition is. With the current meta, you'll get more opportunities to teamfight, so easy teamfight execution makes a lot of sense, and they've definitely doubled down on that. However, a couple of concerns in this game, just between the two teams while we are in this moment of respite between action. I would say Dials are fairly snowbally. If an Akali or a Shaco falls behind, they tend to become quite difficult to play. And the same thing with tanks, realistically, right, for Gravitas, is the way that tanks tend to operate is if they're ahead, they're a win more play style because they can force fights on you. But if they're behind, their only option is to force fights. So you have a very hard time coming back into the game as well, especially when majority of your composition is engaged tank.
So he goes from being, his happy days into chuck out a hook and hope something sticks and hope ultimately you find something from it. Limited priority in the bottom lane. Also, same could be said for Dajong, who is actually going back to base, guarantees that his team are in the area, in the vicinity to claim this first dragon. And look to lay down some deep vision as well to keep tabs on when that next blue buff respawns. But, I mean, that is worth highlighting, right? The stakes here for these two teams. Tanks on one end, that looks clear in terms of a war of attrition, but certainly in Akali and a Shaco behind. Still scary with the nature that they have, but certainly from a damage point of view, Thomas Shen wouldn't be anywhere near as concerned.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to one-hit someone, right? That's really what it comes down to. So losing out on the damage would be crucial. However, AP Shaco kind of always stays relevant if you're able to set up correctly. That's a big part of it. As of course, you can see Poltron clearing that blue buff is going to be spotted by Vision, and that really is the next point of progression that we have to look towards here. What do teams want to do, right? We've got Herald in 45 seconds. Direwolves stuck under turret. Pretty hard for them to really move away from that turret to make any plays with the push that we're seeing from what was a blue weapon of Thomas Shen with a Nautilus to staunch. So I do wonder if they'll be able to flip the map for the Rift Herald and look for the 8-minute play. You can see the reset from Gravitas in terms of timing seems to be for that. And the Nautilus is going to be moving his way up at the same time as Alenia. So if there's anything we're going to compliment here for Gravitas, Skimmy, it's that their recall timings were identical. Their deployment onto the map is for the objective together, so they're going to be stronger if they run into someone. But they are going to get his second.
Synchronized on the same page, but Direwolf certainly not going to be deterred by that one. Simon goes out for a cheeky roam right now, jumps across the room, baits out Lenia, gets charmed as well as that ultimate has been stolen away from the Rakan. Darjung's locked him in place, he's into the Shroud, they have no reveal, and looks a perfect execute away, but he himself has been executed for first blood.
Yeah, they're able to find Suman, just gets hit by the hook and stuck. There's a blast cone right there, but not able to use that one to get out. Gravitas will kick off the Herald. A lot of ultimates were used, however, Sejuani still with hers ready. Poppy.
Bulldog not level 6 just yet, but Zoranis is looking to get Mega as quickly as he can. He's stuck in mini, he's fallen on down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Poltron's found that kill, but Thomas Shen, red and white in your face and flashing forward. He's been hit by that Jack-in-the-Box. The blast cone to disengage away. You don't want to flash over that wall, but Darjung's going to try. He's flashed, he's dashed, he's chained him down.
And Gravitas will get a 3-for-1 transaction here overall, looking very much in control of the map. They are the ones who flip for Herald with intent, and they take the fight willingly. They will secure the objective. They'll get themselves the kill lead. 3-0 is the scoreline for Darjung. We mentioned this in Champions Select, Skimmy. Absolute pick of the litter when it comes to ultimates to take away here. That is absolutely pulling a Suman onto the Direwolves, potentially.
It really is. I'm glad you highlight that, right? Because this is a very similar situation to how Suman, particularly himself, got so far ahead so early on. Let's run it back one more time, because it starts here. He just can't hit the blast cone, right? Far too many members stacked on top of it.
Yeah, also used his E and R1 aggressively to look for Piglet. So he really had no intent to disengage, because the reality is at any time there, Suman could have left. Had flash, could have used the R1 on the other side of the Nautilus instead of going into the fray, but for them, it feels like for Direwolves in particular, they just maybe weren't aware that 5 people from Gravitas were going to be literally right there moving in. We see the re-engage here as well. Massive ultimate from Thomas Shen. Sejuani still having that ultimate there was obviously going to be quite large in that one, and these hooks are hitting. If there's anything we'd say here so far for Piglet coming into the role, perhaps he really is the secret sauce that they needed.
My point exactly. I was just watching Zoranis the entire time. He got layered with CC perfectly. There wasn't ever a small moment, even for him to try and jump away. That was cancelled for him to hit Mega.
And that's a hard fight. Like the reality is for Direwolves, if you actually take a second, right, whenever the 8-minute Rift Herald fight starts, support's a level 5.
Yeah.
Rakan is most of the engage for Direwolves, right, without a Mega Gnar. So to actually hunt for those engage angles requires something pretty special from them to be able to find it. They could make a pick with a Kali ult with Shaco both having Ignite between them and damage. But Gravitas meeting them in a front-to-back, mutually beneficial fight, Gravitas should just win that. They do. And so the mistake belongs to Direwolves.
But it's some promising stuff, right? This is what we've been craving from Gravitas for such a long time. Early aggression, that's actually netting them a sizable reward. Now, in terms of the gold, there is nothing really separating these two teams right now, despite them having those 3 kills, despite them having the first Drake and the Herald. Possibly there's some unrealized gold in their pocket ready to utilize, but you'd imagine with 30 seconds on that second Drake, that's primed and ready to go in mid lane.
Yeah, they've got a lot of priority in mid lane for sure to look towards this. Summoner spell advantage, definitely nice for Gravitas if they have the inside line to the river. Just a lot harder for Direwolves to actually face check their way in. Poltron setting up all of the Jack-in-the-Boxes that he possibly can, but they're defensive. They're not neutral place either. It almost wants to stop Lenia from going over that wall for a dive. That's what it feels like with where he's placed those boxes. Lenia's going mid.
No room extensions here. ability to try and run these members down. He is poking his head into mid lane, looking to see if Simon would decide to go anything, and he certainly is. He goes into his Shroud one more time, has to use the R2 charge once again to disengage away. Dazhong's in! Oh, he's just missed! Ever so close to absolutely slaying.
I probably would have gotten the kill. The question is, would it have been a trade? Thomas Shen.
Bulldog's in, he's got his ultimate this time. That true shot barrage hit like a truck. Dante giving him something to cheer about. Great timing, especially with this Drake now up.
That is an absolutely nasty combo, though, from Bulldog and Poltron, because he's invisible, uses the Deceive over the wall, and Bulldog uses it as a springboard to go straight in. Completely unseen, Shaco uses the platform to find Thomas Shen. The flashless Aphelios goes down. And what was a bit of control because of the mid lane skirmish doesn't actually result in them getting a Drake conversion at all. In fact, they're looking to summon the Herald perhaps in mid lane, knowing that Human overstayed for one more wave.
Certainly did. Hung around waiting to see what would happen. Direwolves are steadily starting to pull away here with just their CS advantages alone. So Direwolves, or rather Gravitas, have to do something. Dazhong looking to get as many of these plates as he can. He's successful in it. And one plate remains, as that Herald will fall on down. Straight to the Dragon they go.
It's going to be on Vision, but it's very difficult now for Direwolves to contest this one whatsoever. They are in fact going to disengage towards the top side, and so the Drake will be theirs in the end. Herald, of course, providing a really nice piece of pressure that requires Direwolves to answer. Creates enough space for them to look towards these objectives, and they have a full jungle to reset back towards as well. Unfortunately for Lenia, he is recalling on another ward. They're going to see that, and so they should know exactly where he goes from here.
Full tracking then for Direwolves to talk about. Zornes is certainly shifting his weight up top, really keeping Toppy at bay. He's just getting absolutely chunked out by these auto attack charges, down to 50%, even without the likes of a Trinity Force or a Divine Sunder. You see a very healthy individual CS lead for him, but total gold, it really is all about Dazhong, right? The fact that he got so many kills so early on. Certainly a shining beacon.
Massively, yeah, but Dante actually still quietly achieving down here, right? That first kill already had a 20 CS lead. Those are the two members with shutdown bounties on them also. And so Direwolves definitely finding themselves with someone who can very actively carry. We spoke about Zoranus being able to go for a Divine Thunderer build. So can Dante. Can sustain himself through very extended fights against these tanks, which is what you're expecting to see here. And it makes you wonder, right? There is a win condition for Gravitas. Yes, they've got the Drake, the third Drake that they could threaten potentially to give themselves something in this game. It's a Cloud Soul though, which isn't hugely impactful over some of the other souls for team fight success.
What would you like to see coming up in the next fight, right? Because 25 seconds, next Herald. I'm just looking at the automation for the Silas. Absolutely huge. Stopwatch, you've got Flash, you've got Everfrost, you've got all the engage in the world, and Thomas Shen has the Flash too. So if you're Direwolves right now, surely you're thinking, we can let that one go.
You can. I mean, absolutely. There is a world where Direwolves have done this, where they've just conceded the third Drake. They play for the fourth. They give themselves more time. Ideally, you can trade perhaps Herald 2 for Drake 3, but based off the mismatch and timings here, it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. So the question becomes, how much do Direwolves concede? And is that going to be meaningful enough in this game? Because the second Herald breaks the mid lane outer turret, opens up the map to place deeper vision control and make things harder for Direwolves to get to the forthcoming Drake. And consequentially, everything thereafter.
They will let that one go for free, but they are in the area looking to try and pick up any stragglers right now. Zones is pushing out bot wave, getting more turret plates. They're going to find a lonely Thomas Shen, who's going to try and deceive himself, but no, did not fall for that Jack-in-a-Box. I winced for a second there, but he had the understanding.
Got the Ezreal ultimate. Is half health, but has the red weapon to get some of this health back, depending on how Direwolves choose to play this one. Also had the Gale Force, but really good resolve from Thomas Shen to not flash, to not use the Gale Force, to just walk away, activate the red weapon, get that movement speed and attack damage to take down the box. So still staying strong, staying resolute, his presence of mind.
That really is all I'm getting from this build, right? With the Kraken, rather the Gale Force and the Fleet Footwork. I've just got to run. I've just got to be as mobile as possible, right? Don't have to go for the full maximum DPS of, a bunch of bruises and an AD carrying the backline, scaling into infinity. I don't have an Enchanter, but all I need to do is live. As long as I can live, as long as I can land that Moonlight Vigil onto multiple members, that might be enough to try and win out these fights. Second Herald, this time going to be spawned topside. No plates to talk about, so that turret should just be gone. Question is, will Seaman be gone on the process as well? A TP coming in here to try and back him up, but it's a little bit too late. He's burnt the flash, but he still falls on down. Bulldog jumps in. Hasn't popped the ult just yet, but might cop a fair bit of damage from the second charge of the cycle and forced to flash away himself. And he's fallen on down. Lenny is sitting on a double kill right now. This is huge. This is massive for Gravitas. Members of Direwolves are flooding in with TPs and trying to find whatever kind of salvage they can get. They're going to look for Piglet, who's onto his side. Dante's died as well. A triple for this Wukong. But not to be outdone by Dinar, who's now found himself in a second. A flash forward, and Dinar into the wall, stunned. And there's a triple for him as well. These players are really coming out of their own dodge on this. Well, he's trimmed the wave. That's all he's done. He's trimmed the wave. Look away from the screen for a second.
Jug has been absolutely put into retirement by the Shaco. That was so sad to watch. Poltron actually standing on his Jack-in-the-Box just dancing. On the other side is a raid boss in Zoradus. We'll watch this again because it starts off once again very nicely by Gravitas. Bulldog trying to get in and find an angle, but was slowed down by the Sejuani ultimate. Hook gonna miss from Piglet, and here you are just stuck, right? Like, the play was cool in idea. The first dive was okay, but beyond that, you're just going for the outer turret and you're leaving. So they stay, they try and do more, and they give opportunities for Direwolves to get here as a 5-man unit. They don't stay mid and push the turret. They try and come and help a dead situation, and they give another kill instead. That's a mid lane outer turret that should be dead, but Thomas Shen spent half this fight walking top to change his mind. Dajung spent the entire fight walking top to die.
It looks like one of those unfortunate circumstances where you're spamming your ultimate button and ultimately being fed into an ult that is channeled and buffered to go. Nonetheless, we are back in for another Drake. Gravitas with 2 to the name so far do not find themselves with the inline track, but they've certainly found themselves with a pick target to look for. Not been the cleanest game or the easiest game for the Sakali to try and navigate. Stunned off screen. Gravitas will now run straight towards that third Drake. Can they steal it? They cannot. First one picked up here for Direwolves, who now just need to disengage away. Poltron's copped the depth charge, not the target they're after. Toppy leading the line, but may just fall to the wayside as a result of this one. The team don't want to back him up. He's just going to be absolutely chunked on down. Boxes on the floor, you're stunned, you're feared. You don't know where to run, you don't know where to hide. But in comes Akali, looking to absolutely assassinate Thomas Shen, who's just managed to dash away. No, he hasn't. Rusty, he burned everything to survive as a Philios, but even that was not enough. Lenia trying his hardest to try and salvage something for Gravitas to cheer about. But they are just getting run on down, and he's ignited the clone.
Leandro is just off having enough. They're not going to get the kill that they're after. Poltron still with the ignite. God, are they going to find the kill anyway? Dante don't miss.
Huge.
Dante just doesn't miss those. And they're going to push for the mid lane outer turret. Also, Direwolves, back-to-back teamfight successes, will find themselves 2,000 gold ahead and well and truly in the driver's seat in this game suddenly. And it feels like everything's just really unfurling from Gravitas here. This fight, they try and force it, but Zoranus is about to hit Mega, and so they waste the Nautilus ult. And that Shaco fake clone is zoning all of them. They are so afraid of that Shaco clone, they refuse to kill it, and then it dies at the perfect moment to get Lenia out of the fight. Thomas Shen hasn't hit a thing. They were doomed from the moment they walked into the river to try and take this fight, and Dajung steals Rakan ult, charms literally everybody. Puts in, you would say, the perfect combo here almost. But it's one of those situations where the fight was already lost and he's trying to recover the dead fight. Very tragic ignite there, of course, from Poltron, but it doesn't matter because Dante is actually just too clean. Why recall when you can just get a free extra 300 gold?
And talk about preciseness. I mean, precision was on point there to try and guess exactly where that recall was going to come about.
At all? I don't think he had any vision, he just guessed. Unless Leandro's burn showed like the relative position he recalled straight up.
Whatever it was, worrying signs. That was the point you raised most predominantly in drafting phase, was the fact that Thomas Shen burnt flash, heal, Gale falls. Even then still, the diving threat of the quickness from the Rakan into the 2 assassins on your head.
And for me, what this is, Skimmy, is Gravitas not knowing when to fight. They're missing the angles, they're missing their opportunities. Again, 3-man dive top was good, then they stayed for too long. They didn't even try to disengage, they just said, well, we're stuck, while their 2 carries were mid lane. So knowing when to do these things is definitely something brought into question. Same thing with that Drake. By the time they got to the Drake and tried to fight, it was already dead, and they'd given Zoranus the space to tick over to Mega.
So much deception though with these clones from both the Wukong and the Shaco to bait out key ultimates, key spells, which is creating that zonal pressure and certainly creating a bit of distrust as to what really is happening on the map. Trinity Force is the mythic option here for the Nara as well as the Ezreal. Plenty of uptime for them to try and find value, cycling through those Sheen procs, absolutely.
Oh, it's such a tragedy, though, that Gravitas just start to run out of damage here. They're really relying now on Thomas Shen. Zonya second for Dajang is more of a utility stylist build that we're seeing right now, right? Stack the ability haste, get the W cycles off. Fair amount of melee champions to hit it on, yes, but at the same time, he's not going to be a hyper carry. It's not a Leandri's build.
Good side lane control right now from Dire. We'll see him in up top, Zonas down bottom. The rest of Gravitas grouped up in mid, scared of a flanking angle, scared of any pick potential. There's a lot of vision going down to try and protect the mid to jungle, or at least towards the bot lane pressure.
And I would have liked magic resistance, Skimmy, because it is a Shaker that is AP and an Akali that is AP, both as assassins. There is only armor for the side of Gravitas. So if the assassin champions are allowed to build flat magic penetration and be completely left not in check by the build of Gravitas. This is something we've spoken about before, actually, with Sejuani builds.
Sure.
I feel like Fimbulwinter is good in theory, but is occasionally a massive itemization trap pick. Because while you feel like you need tier for lane, completing the full Fimbulwinter provides you with health and no stats. And then going for Frostfire into Fimbulwinter is a lot of health, not a lot of actual resistances. And that in itself, I think actually means that you can still die to these fights that go on top of you, right? And it also means that you're not going to be able to constantly body out things like a Shaco who has a Leandri's. Can do a fair amount of damage even to you. But by the third item, you have resistances. Frostfire still has some in there. Like, you're not unkillable, but you aren't going to die quickly.
With the absence of resistance boots being picked up as well, right? The rise of boots lucidity, as we can see in this game from mid and top, does mean that you are far more all about that burst and cycling through those cooldowns in those extended trades, but at the consequence of being far squishier in the process as well.
I mean, there is one pair of Merc treads on the Direwolf side into 7,000 stuns. They don't care.
More damage.
Yeah, that's it.
Why not?
More cooldowns equals more damage, equals higher chance of winning.
It's just a flow chart. More damage, more kills, more fun, more dopamine.
That's it.
And that's certainly what they're finding here.
Why people like Earth.
They certainly do. That's why I like ARM.
More team fights, less farming.
Absolutely.
I've never seen you last with a minion in my life.
Nah.
I've watched you play League for 3 years now.
All I'm saying is our time playing Flex together, Maokai top lane.
Yeah, W off cooldown.
Absolutely get bodied in laning phase, group at the team fight. That's my proving ground.
Minions were an illusion for you then as well. I remember.
Lose lane, win game.
That's true.
3k gold lead though for Direwolves, right? Certainly pretty. 24 minutes into this one. Just picked up back-to-back Cloud Drakes as well, so a lot more movement speed for them to be excited about. There is the match of the week, as mentioned earlier on today. That's coming tomorrow. You certainly do not want to miss that epic showdown. A battle in that lower bracket semi-final that he delivered last time with a lot of aggression and some wild picks as well.
The Direwolves asserting themselves, lots of damage about to come through from Dante. They're staunching off any of the approaches from Gravitas. They're already half health, and they're walking into a Shaco. And it's an AP Shaco, so you have to be terrified without sweepers up. And you can see they'll start to work their way through just with the sweepers available. Gravitas do have 2 control wards left in the pockets. Ultron got hit by that.
That was kind of cute. He dashed across the wall.
But he's a Shaco one trick.
He still got hit by the Everfrost.
But he ulted over the wall as a Shaco. He's a Smurf.
So much pressure though, isn't it, right?
I just don't think that the issue here is I don't think they really want to hit the Baron. They want to open up to any unnecessary risk. Zonas, you're seeing, he's having a great time down here.
All the fun. I mean, look at the itemization at this point, right? He is just so strong on his individual 1v1s.
And Ezreal does decent damage to the objective. He's more of a machine gun with the Q that he throws out. There's no percentage damage, but just rapid fire of abilities. I think if the Gnar and the Ezreal are both there, right, then you could look for the Baron. But with AP Shaco again, low damage from an Akali with energy as a big cap for your DPS output. Not going to be a fast Baron by any means. The reality is I think Direwolves would rather bait the Baron, bring Gravitas towards you and then force the fight instead. And so that's where vision, like you mentioned even in Champions Select, is everything in this. If you're Gravitas, you have to find them and not face check a bunch of Shaco boxes and lose. Direwolves want to set up in a way that forces Gravitas to come towards them.
That's what it looks like to me, right? The makings of Zorenis is just going to constantly hit you in a side lane, which you're not winning, so you need to try and divert resources there. But then if you are a straggler, if you are split apart, then easier pickings for an Akali and a Shaker to try and take you down. You disengaged away. They've dashed across the wall. I do believe the crab didn't reveal.
Vision also spotted Lenia going towards his Krug camp. The control wood just to the south of that red buff has been really high value for them. Baron already at 3k. Piglet going to find it. It's going to be already gone.
It's already going to be gone because Lenia's not there. He's stuck in the mid-wave right now, and Baron will be revealed as being claimed here at the 27-minute mark. Bang on the money, 5k lead. And now that certainly spells disaster for how much strength they can get in their sieging potential.
Yeah, and ultimately just find themselves a free Baron from good vision. I remember that ward being placed from like level 1 to spot Piglet. Thomas Shen. Man, they're just losing slowly.
They are. They're being run around the map ragged at this point, right? They can't win in the bot lane. They try and put some attention in towards him. He's level 16 now, and I know it's absolutely huge. And for all the good work Lenia put in at the start of this game.
He's ignited the clone again.
He's unable to try and find those angles anymore. Dante low on mana, but he's going to continue to siege, and these Mystic shots really starting to add up.
Yeah, low on mana is still probably 500 as you're seeing, so has enough for a couple of rotations here. Should be okay. They'll be able to net themselves a couple of turrets from this Baron buff. Zorenis' pressure now starts to really add up. And Gravitas, all the engage in the world, but not an engage to be seen.
Don't know which target to go for. They are struggling. Indecision. And Direwolves are certainly flourishing as a result of that indecision. They are collapsing on all 3 lanes at once, targeting the inhibitor. Great buffer there from Dante to just dash out of that one. Certainly could have been a kill opportunity, which will not be afforded to them. Mid-inhibitor turret, rather, seems to be the lowest target at the moment, but it's not going to be outdone by Zorenis, who also just flirts them, saying, you can't catch me.
I feel like Thomas Shen had Gravitum, had a purple weapon, Sejuani had ultimate, and they're just not going to follow up on Dante, who used his E.
Dante's gone back to base. He's picked up some items. He's working towards a frozen heart. He's going to TP back. And once again, broken ankles. You can't lock me down. Cannot be found. And ultimately, a hook goes out again. A bit of a do-or-die situation here for Piglet as he chucks it out. Glacial Augment is there. Bulldog keen to try and turn things around as the charm is there on towards the key target. They do find Poltron finally. Dark Seal stacks in the bin, but Seaman goes in, looking to assassinate a key target. It might be an Aphelios, or it could just be a Sejuani. Easy as that. As that hit finally falls on down in the mid lane.
And they'll win the team fight without Zorenis being Mega Gnar. So note that he's got the duration of this to throw out an ultimate. No flash, however, for the Gnar means it's not as easy to execute, but has all of the space in the world to do what they would like here, Direwolves. They will just run them ragged. They will just... Oh, okay, Dante.
Dante aggressively dashing forward for the kill. He was like almost posturing that you can't catch me, but then really felt himself. Dante, you monster.
Dante, don't miss. That's how many times are we going to say that in this game alone? These Ezreal ults have been clean. The Ezreal from Dante definitely has the tick of approval from the LCO casting team. I'll speak for all of you, I don't care.
Please do.
Meets the high bar that is set for Ezreal. Has been doing very well with it thus far. And Gravitas just can't find anything. Can't find an engage. It feels like they're looking for a needle in a haystack, but really they have a haystack worth of engage. They just can't get it done.
It's agonizing to see though, right? Ample opportunity, but just paralyzed by too many options to try and utilize. And yeah, Dante and Zorenis, from start to finish here, have just had their number, have made it ever so clean. Dajong is incredibly lucky to get away with that.
The sweeper spotted him, so they didn't know how far into the recall he was. Shaco Clone tries to go in to kick it off, but here we are. Shaco Clone again, hits the real one.
He does hit the real one. As, oh no, Dajong's jumped across the wall. He's been feared by that Jack in the Box. Make it twice! Absolute anxiety for him. Another True Shot Barrage comes across and makes sure that the Gravitas defense will not be strong today. Poltron falls again. But I think he's done enough as the rest of his team stand strong and healthy. Claim their second inhibitor. Now might be looking for revenge. A little bit of blood. Zorenis still has that ultimate ready to go. A full topped up Mega Bar. On towards the Nexus turrets themselves. What can Gravitas do? They have engaged. They have options. They've stolen away the Rakan ult. What Dajong's did for 20 seconds. It's really a Moonlight Vigil and a dream. But Thomas Shen, the only dream he has is back to the fountain where it's also warm and cozy. Seaman on towards the target. That is the Nexus itself. Zorenis in trouble this time. Cannot buffer that jump away. And Toppy's doing whatever he can to hold strong, but it's just not enough. The wallops are a little bit too big. Up by 10k with Dragons to the names for an ace to celebrate. And a 32-minute victory for Direwolves to be proud of.
Yeah, and a clean victory in the end. It never really felt like they were out of the game by any means. Direwolves definitely showing up to be the better team on the day. Gravitas, they gave us signs of life. They gave us hope. They gave us things to look forward to. But unfortunately, they hit 15 minutes, right? They hit the mid-game and it all just dissipated and was completely gone. Any chance they had to engage felt like they didn't recognize those opportunities, and Direwolves just broke their ankles until the Nexus died.
Yeah, I think you raised the point actually, Mac, was like there was back-to-back team fights, 2 in a row, where just they lost it, and you're thinking this is worrying signs right now. What was such a great early game start for them quickly came undone.
My ankles are good though.
You okay?
That's what I was just checking, making sure everyone's ankles weren't broken. You know, and good game. Direwolves, of course. I was a little bit worried that early to mid game, Gravitas playing really, really well. They got the Wukong in. Wukong hasn't lost too many times. So I guess we can celebrate that. Wukong actually losing. Woo! Hey, ain't that something? That's something good. Finally, it's maybe not as broken. I think did he have a slight nerf in the last patch? Anyway, that's besides the point. Either way, they played very, very well, but Direwolves just played that little bit better. Once they were allowed to have those 2 solid team fights, you know, that turnaround in the top lane, and then this one that you're having a look at here, it just went downhill for Gravitas. So a little bit sad for all the Gravitas fans out there. Everyone that put their Twitch points on them today would have been like, oh, this is looking good real early on. But again, you cannot write off players of the likes of Dante, who is just hitting skill shots all across the map. That wasn't the only one. You saw that other one on the Piglet as well. And look, 2 ADCs in the bot lane wasn't enough to get Gravitas over the line, but it looked probably like one of their most convincing games so far, so it seems like that improvement's definitely coming.
It was looking refreshing from the very get-go, right? There was a lot of aggression, a lot of keenness to try and find those angles, right? To layer that CC beautifully as their composition was built to do so, but yeah, we saw the polar opposite of that come to the end as they are trying to defend their base. Just far too many options, but not enough decision to land that killer instinct, that punch to try and take down a key member, and Direwolves just had a little bit too much fun towards the end there.
Yeah, they did, but at the same time, I think it was Poltron having fun. The fact that he just stood and laughed.
Yeah.
I was losing. I was like, no
sad.
way. Zoranus was laughing. I was looking at the player cams. Everyone was having a good time for Direwolves. Anything in particular you want to touch on? I don't think we saw any items that copped some of those changes going into 12-12 here, other than, of course, the ridiculous damage dealt by Dante again.
Dante, I mean, he's making a case for himself. This split has come in with a certain confidence that I think the first time we saw him play last split, he played the 1 game on Kaiser and was gone. Yeah. It felt like he had ice in his veins, you know, just completely chill gamer. Never felt like there was nerves involved with how he played, and that seems to still be ringing true, so just gets to be a young mechanics max monster.
I was really surprised that wasn't followed up by a skimmy, like, either way, look.
Oh, he had to say it.
I didn't ask for you to do it, I just said I was surprised you didn't.
I've been enabled.
Maybe it happened.
Like
either way, someone that was an enabler for Direwolves today was Dante. We got him to have a quick chat to. Dante, how are you feeling after that win?
Hello, Mac. I'm feeling good.
Good.
It's Gravitas, so obviously it's expected, I think. If we don't win, it's pretty worrying, but yeah, feeling good.
Yeah, I'd say you guys, look, going into this, were definitely the favourites. Now, talk to me about Shaco. Have you guys been scrimming with it? Has it been going well? Because it looked like Poltron was having a lot of fun today. I kind of remember, did he play it in like a show match or something? Was that him? Or is he a Shaco
he
player?
Played it. Yeah, he's for sure a Shaco connoisseur. He played it last season, I think, against, I think it was PGG.
Okay.
As Gravitas. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good Shaco player.
Okay, quick thoughts as well. You know, we're talking about the jungle. Belveth, do you enjoy it? Have you seen much of it? Are you expecting it to slide into a couple of these LCO games? And what are your personal thoughts on it?
Belveth, I think, is a pretty niche champ. I haven't played with it that much, to be honest, but I think range is good into it. That's all I know.
Okay, yeah. So people like you, ADCs down in the bot lane, should be having a relatively good time against it, hopefully. Look, we did have a question earlier for Toppy. I'm going to use the same one for you. So yesterday was annual Compliment a Mirror Day. I want to know what you were saying to yourself yesterday to get ready for this game.
what I was saying to myself, guess just don't lose. That's basically it.
Not like a, like a, like, you do you, boy! And then, like, you just got yourself pumped like that?
Nah,
That's
not really, bro. Sorry
Maybe
about that.
try that next time. I think Bulldog, he's probably does that occasionally too. Either way, we'll let you go.
Maybe against the
Congratulations.
good teams, not against Grav. Yep. Cheers, appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Dante, for joining us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Sorry, I was just...
Nah, you're good. That's
I see you at the gym doing that, all right? You got yourself-
before every set, go for the 1RM.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, Dare MVP discussion time. We have to talk about who we think deserves it. Was it Dante? Was it the man on your screen? Or were there other contenders? Don't wanna
Zornis?
I mean, Zornis did put in a really hard shift. Could certainly raise an argument for him. I guess I'm a little bit biased because I saw 2 insane ultimates from old mate Dante. The fact that he's been aggressive into a lot of engage and saying, I don't care, I'll still try and kill you.
Yeah.
That for me was a highlight, but yeah, fair shout for Zornis, no doubt.
Yeah, I
Your
think,
choice.
yeah, Dante on the Ez,
Yeah.
looking pretty good. I feel like he deserves it, like for this game, but then also for how much work he's been putting in, even in the games where they're losing as well, right? So, look, Dare MVP for game number 1 of the day is going to be Dante. Bring him up 6-1 and 9, 88% KP and 38% of the damage as an ADC. He certainly did his job well today.
So he did. He's got the tick of approval. He's got another sticker in his art class book from Teacher Rusty saying,
Gold
congratulations, you deserve to play Ezreal. You make it look good, aesthetically pleasing. It is a work of art, much like his outfit today.
Yeah, Rusty, you did say you spoke for the couch.
I did.
And
Was that right?
yeah,
Do you agree?
you can speak for me all the time. What was I going to say
immediately
right
wanted
now?
to say something controversial. I'll hold off. Shyvana players all suck. Got him.
Volkan's probably watching, and I would not make that man angry. Either way, look, we have
He's gentle.
we have some from the fans to have a quick look at as well. We had a lot of submissions already. And I
Yes.
want more from you guys. Let's see what you guys have sent in so far. Corby, I believe he's actually sent us all one.
Jesus.
So all the roasts are going to be barbecue themed. All right, thank you very much. Mac mate. Oh, Mac mate, you look like you're the dad at the barbecue that clicks the tongs every time to make sure they're working. Yeah, look,
People don't do that.
You just feel
You do
so
that?
important, though,
I
don't
just
you?
use it. You just dance with it. You know? They're good. They're a good dance tool. Anyway, let's
you
we've got a
snip
few
people's
more.
fingers. Get
Crab
away.
rave.
Get away.
Crab
mate.
rave.
Exactly.
barbecue.
Skimmy is the uncle that passionately talks about conspiracies and somehow makes perfect sense. Yeah,
I've just lost the plot then.
yeah. I won't bring up any conspiracies because it could spill into
We don't want-
dangerous
yeah.
Don't
territory.
set him off. Don't set him off.
Kitty looks like the kid that breaks things but blames it on you and gets away with it with a smile on her face.
On God.
True.
On God.
True.
Oh, is that not how it works? Oh, Geordie told me that that's how it worked. Yep,
Yep.
that's it.
I
Anyway,
like that one.
and Rusty looks like the kind of guy who perma roams to the music to change the song because everyone else has no taste. Yeah, well, someone's
right.
got to.
The only time I don't do that is during the hottest 100 day.
Yeah,
Can't change it.
yeah, you're not allowed.
That's it.
It's-
Them's the rules.
Is what it is. But I feel like pretty
actually
pretty
right.
accurate
pretty good.
representation.
It's pretty good.
It's actually right.
By the way, I do enjoy manning the barbecue.
Mhm.
So I feel like he's at least got that part right. I need to go find some tongs.
I need
just
to learn
test
some more
this.
conspiracies.
I actually need some time to go and find those tongs, and fortunately, it's break time.
Okay.
So game number 2 coming up just after this, ladies and gents. We'll see you after the break for Peace up against Kanga.
Just off having enough. They're not going to get the kill that they're after. Poltron still with the Ignite. God, now they're going to find the kill anyway. Dante don't miss. Okay, Dante.
Dante aggressively dashing forward for the kill. He was like almost posturing that you can't catch me, but then really felt himself. Dante, you monster!
Dante don't miss.
Hey, look, menu pog.
Fine. So the dog, he's here. How's that one taste? How's that one
what's
feel?
up, mate? Hey, that was for the ooh-woos. I got the Yumi on there. I got the Yumi, baby. Yeah, meow, meow.
What a bloody game.
Hey guys, it's Battle Principal Kitty here, and summer school is in session. A bit about myself. I'm an interviewer, caster, and analyst with the LCO, and I'm also a 5-season Challenger veteran who has been summoned here to provide some tips and tricks to help you play like a pro. We'll be starting off the series with my favorite topic, vision control. We'll be going over some pro tricks, secret spots, and control word strategies that will improve your team's vision and help you win more games. Let's begin with pro spots for trinkets and wards. Our main goal is to place them where they can gain as much information as possible and at the right time. Keeping vision around an objective as they come up, as well as providing information about the enemy team's movement prior to contesting the objective, will help your team gain the upper hand. Here are some cheesy warding shortcuts that can be extremely useful with practice to keep you safe while spying on your enemies. Lastly, and most importantly, pinks. While they are clearly more red than pink, they have retained this name from the old days of League when control words were actually pink. Placement of control words are crucial as they provide vision while denying the enemy priority over objectives. Be smart about where you place them as they can be used to bait fights and prevent flanks. That is all for Meow, but do not be disappointed because if you do want more tips and tricks, stay tuned for more Summoner School with Battle Principal Kitty.